The moment he saw her walking toward the café, James knew something felt off. Maybe it was her nervous smile, or maybe it was the way she kept glancing over her shoulder. Whatever it was, the blind date that his sister had set up already felt like a mistake. He wasn't sure why he'd even agreed to it. He wasn't ready for another relationship. But as fate would have it, that awkward afternoon was about to change his life forever, because of one small voice that spoke a simple truth. Before we jump into today's story, take a second to subscribe to Kindness in Action. Every week, we share true and inspiring stories that remind us of the goodness still alive in the world. If you believe kindness can change lives, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs hope, and drop a comment below about a moment when kindness surprised you. It had been 2 years since James's divorce. His days felt predictable: wake up, go to work, come home to an empty apartment, heat up leftovers, scroll his phone until sleep came. His sister, Megan, had been gently nagging him to get back out there. Finally, she took matters into her own hands and arranged a blind date with a woman she knew from work. Her name was Claire. She's sweet, down-to-earth, and a great mom, Megan had said. That last part made James hesitate. A mom. He didn't have kids, and after his messy breakup, he wasn't sure he wanted that kind of responsibility. Still, something in his sister's tone, hopeful, almost pleading, made him agree, and that's how he found himself sitting at an outdoor cafe on a sunny Saturday, waiting. When Claire arrived, she was dressed simply in a pale blue dress, her hair loose and soft around her face. She was beautiful, but her eyes told another story, something tired, something guarded. To James, she asked with a tentative smile. He stood and shook her hand. Yeah. You must be Claire. For a few minutes, everything was polite but awkward. They talked about work, weather, coffee. She taught art at an elementary school. He worked in finance. Two worlds that rarely overlapped. Then Claire's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and sighed. I'm so sorry. My babysitter just canceled. My daughter's nearby with a friend, but I might need to go pick her up early. James smiled politely. No worries. Life happens. But then Claire surprised him. Would you mind if she joined us for a bit? Just until my mom can come get her? James hesitated. A date with a kid tagging along? Not exactly romantic. But something about the worry in Claire's eyes made him nod. Of course. Bring her. 15 minutes later, a little girl in a bright yellow raincoat came skipping across the grass, even though the sun was shining. She couldn't have been more than 6. Mommy, she called out, and Claire's whole face softened. James noticed the transformation instantly. The tension in her shoulders melted, her smile grew real. This wasn't the shy, nervous woman from a few minutes ago. This was a mother, radiant and alive. The girl stopped in front of the table, looked at James, and grinned. Hi. I'm Lily. Mommy said you're her new friend. James chuckled. Hi, Lily. Nice to meet you. Claire blushed. She's very honest. Lily climbed onto the chair next to her mother, swinging her legs as she inspected James. Do you like pancakes? She asked suddenly. Sure, he said. Good, Lily nodded seriously. Mommy burns pancakes. You can help. They all laughed, and for the first time that day, the air felt lighter. As they talked, something unexpected happened. James found himself relaxing. Lily told stories about her school and her best friend and her pet ladybug that lived in her pocket, which turned out to be a button. Claire laughed and rolled her eyes, but James could tell how much she adored her daughter. Then came a quiet moment. Claire went to take a phone call from her mom, leaving Lily and James alone. The little girl leaned on the table, eyes wide. You're nice, she said softly. Thanks, kiddo, James said. Mommy's scared, Lily whispered, like it was a secret. She says people don't stay. But I think you'd stay. James froze. He didn't know what to say. Something about the honesty in that little voice hit him straight in the heart. When Claire came back, she noticed the look on his face. What's wrong? He shook his head, smiling faintly. Nothing. Just, your daughter's pretty amazing. The rest of the afternoon passed quickly. They walked to the park nearby, and Lily insisted on showing James her favorite tree, the climbing tree. Claire apologized, but James didn't mind. Watching Lily laugh and Claire smile felt more real than any date he'd had in years. As the sun began to set, Claire's mom arrived to pick up Lily. The little girl gave James a big hug around the waist. Then she looked up at him and said something that made time stand still. "You're mommy's favorite person," she said confidently. Claire's cheeks turned red. "Lily." But the little girl only giggled and ran off toward her grandmother's car. James looked at Claire, unsure whether to laugh or say something meaningful. But before he could, Claire spoke first. "I'm sorry if this was strange. My life's complicated. I didn't expect today to go like this." He nodded slowly. "Neither did I. But maybe that's okay." They stood there for a moment, the evening breeze brushing through the trees. Then James said, "How about we try again sometime? No blind date pressure. Just two people getting coffee." Claire smiled, really smiled this time. "I'd like that." A week later, they met again. And again after that. Each time felt easier, more natural. James started bringing little things for Lily: a book, a coloring set, a box of her favorite cereal. It wasn't long before Saturday mornings became their tradition. Pancakes, half-burned, half-perfect, laughter, and warmth filled what used to be empty weekends. James had never planned to fall for a single mom. But as the months went by, he realized kindness had a funny way of finding him when he least expected it. One night, after dinner, Lily handed him a crayon drawing. It showed three stick figures holding hands: Mommy, me,